welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica Foley. Along with me, we have Evan Boudreaux, who's the Economic Development Director with St. Mary Parish. As you all know, we are in a new year, January 2022, and I just want to give you this opportunity to kind of give me a reflection of your first year in this position, in this role. I mean, I'm sure there has to have been lots of ups and downs, lots of learning. Yeah. So tell me, give me your scope of how things have gone in the past year.
Yeah, no, Danica, I want to thank you for inviting me back on. And it's officially been a year since I've been in this position, and I can honestly say that this past year, I think I've learned so much more about St. Mary Parish than I ever learned, growing up here. And
yeah.
So really looking back on this past year, one of the biggest things that I really want to highlight is just the fact that the people in St. Mary Parish are ready for change. They're ready for progress. And there's this wave throughout the community, all 5 communities, and then the parish as a whole, that it's coming from this grassroots effort that they're demanding change. And hearing that, I've been able to really, come into this role, not only gain more information, but also find partnerships, develop new partnerships, new relationships with people in this community, just the average, Joe on the street who just is committed to their community and wants to see change.
Yeah.
And through that, I'm excited moving into 2022. 2021 was a lot of just me getting my feet wet, learning as much as I could, and then planning for what I want to see this department and what this parish to be. Well, 2022, I'm looking to actually implement a lot of these plans, move full forward, and honestly see what progress we can achieve.
Yeah. So with that said, obviously people have come to you. Like they're not afraid to say, we want this and this is what we're working towards. How can you help us? So now that you have all this information at reach, what is your focus now?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And I'm really glad that you asked that. So 2022, a big goal of mine is, one, to have information be more accessible to the public. There's lots of stuff that we should be proud of in St. Mary Parish, but the thing is, a lot of people in St. Mary, they don't know what's going on. They don't have that constant flow of information. By the end of this month, I'm optimistic to say that the Economic Development Department is going to have not only a social media presence, where it's going to be utilizing, not only getting information out, but as a way to actually have constant communication with our residents. Not only just our businesses, but the individual people who are living here. What kind of changes do they want to see? Yeah. In addition to that, I'm planning basically a town hall tour of the parish, where it's basically going to have community meetings where I want people in the community to come to these meetings and voice their concerns, whether it's good or bad. I want to hear that feedback. Now, in addition to that, entrepreneurship. I want to see people who have business ideas, who want to start a business, to take that jump. We have to see a revival in St. Mary Parish. And coming out of COVID, the only way we're going to see that is going to be through our entrepreneurship. Lastly, those big projects, those big employers, I think that in St. Mary Parish now, we have strong assets that we are continuously improving on. But through the partnerships between the ports, between the mayors of each municipality, the parish government, parish council, through those partnerships, we can increase those assets to not only solidify the prospects that we're working on now to get them to that end of the line, but also to continuously be bringing in new prospects, to court them, show them what's the benefit of living, working, playing in St. Mary Parish, and that this community is, incredibly competitive to any of our neighbors.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have this winning attitude, because I will tell you, just kind of looking at the climate around us, doesn't always reflect that. Now, I remember when you came here for the first time and you talked about having those town hall meetings. About how soon are we looking at that? Because, that's something I know you mentioned early on.
Yeah. So my first thought is basically to have one a quarter. Now, since we have 5 municipalities, there'll be 2 town halls in the same quarter, but I'm figuring out how frequent do we want to do this. I'd rather have more feedback than less. So working with the municipalities and the mayors, I'd obviously want to have as much involvement between the local governments throughout the parish and as possible. So working with them, I'd like to have the first one within the first quarter of this year. So between now and March is where I'm looking to have it. So in the next 2 months or so.
Okay, that's good. Let's actually give us some dates to kind of hold you to. So I'm liking that. And we're going to have much more to talk about, but we're getting down to the end of this segment. But I want to come back and just kind of get you to thinking about what are some of the projects and developments that are currently undergoing or underway in the parish. Because I want to know, we're talking about we want to do this, but what is actually that's going on right now, so we can kind of say, okay, I see some movement on this, I see a little movement on that, and I can actually see it, and it's not just being told to me, I see it happening. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danica Foley. Along with me, we have Evan Boudreaux, Economic Development Director with St. Mary Parish. And we want to pick up where we left off. And of course, we kind of see where you've come from. We've kind of, got your information on what you want to focus on. But where are we truly? What are some of the current projects that are underway in St. Mary Parish right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely could not come to this interview and not mention just something that I'm incredibly proud of. So one of the big projects that I was working on last year is one focusing on entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial spirit of St. Mary Parish. So there's a young lady in St. Mary named Tamika Willis who, her energy is just contagious. But she is someone who's born, raised in St. Mary Parish, raised 5 kids in St. Mary Parish, worked incredibly hard her whole life, who had an idea for a business, and what it is a transportation logistics company. And through years of just hard work, dedication, and really going through trial and error, she was able to meet with me after she had been working on this for years. Came to meet with me. We were able to find and get funding through South Central Planning of Small Business Development Loan. And through that loan, she's able to not only purchase additional trucks to service her clients, but she's also now able to have a physical presence in St. Mary Parish in Patterson. What this is going to do is not only increase just obviously the tax base, but it's going to increase opportunity in St. Mary. And this is someone who has dedicated herself to getting just about every kind of business certification she could. She secured contracts with Amazon. She secured contracts with 2 companies that are receiving money for infrastructure projects, both in the Baton Rouge area and New Orleans area, which she's going to be basing this all out of St. Mary Parish, hiring people from St. Mary Parish. And her whole dream for this was she didn't want this to be anywhere else other than St. Mary Parish. Right. She wanted to reinvest in her community and give more people in her community opportunity. And that right there is probably the greatest lesson that I hope our small business community and our entrepreneurship community can take. She is the prime role model for that.
And that's the heartbeat of America, right?
100%.
That's kind of what we look to when we hear about small businesses. It's not just, just opening up. Just you really have to be dedicated and you really have to be committed to this.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like she got the plan. She knows 100%. And she has the spirit
100%.
As well.
And the biggest thing that I've told her going through this process, working her with, was, you're going to go through some low times at this point, but once you get to that final stage, you're going to just feel, like you've accomplished anything.
It was all worth it.
It was. And I talked to her yesterday, and she is incredibly excited for how her 2022 is off to start. And, the name of the company is TDS Trucking, and I definitely want to introduce you to her because, one, I think you and her would get along great, but also just what she wants to do is her story needs to be spread throughout St. Mary Parish.
It's making me smile already. I don't even know the young lady. I love this. And of course, I enjoy having you here because, I'm all about, we got ka-ching, ka-ching. We need to start moving forward.
Absolutely.
And while I definitely enjoy hearing her story, there's also other projects that are ongoing now. We have talked about this and I want to know where we are because, I know you got a lot of red tape you got to go through, but it's been a minute since we've talked. And there's at least 3 companies that we have talked about previously, and that was the solar farm, a wind power company, and also an offshore manufacturing supply company.
Yes.
Let's talk about wind power, and I want to talk about that because, my goodness, I know we live in oil country, oil field country. Everyone wants the oil field to come back, and I get it, but we need to start looking at renewable energy and resources. So
Absolutely.
that particular company, I know there are a couple of things they had to go through. Where are we right now?
So we're actually making some pretty strong progress. So right now, the pretty much their Louisiana lead is has just changed. However, what we've done is they've secured locations in the Gulf of Mexico through the lease sales through the federal government. Where we are now is they will be interacting with the Port of Morgan City, so we can get them coming to this actual Morgan City and start looking at sites that they want to actually base their operations out of.
Okay.
The next phase is they have to go through the Public Service Commission to get this approval to actually sell their energy. But we're making some very strong progress with them. And I mean, several of our existing companies in St. Mary have already started diversifying into wind energy.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. Awesome. Well, we have two more companies I want to kind of
Right.
backtrack and talk about. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danica Foley. With me, we have Evan Boudreaux, St. Mary Economic Development Director. So, wind power. Oh, that feels good to talk about. I'm sorry, I know, again, we're in oil-filled country, but it will be so awesome to say that, yes, at one time we were #1 in oil field, but we can also make an impact with renewable energy such as this wind power.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that in a news article or a documentary that Louisiana is known for wind power.
Absolutely. Well, Nico, in St. Mary Parish specifically, we have the capabilities and the skill set to directly translate to offshore wind energy. Second, our existing companies, they're already starting to diversify without even exploring the potential that St. Mary Parish directly has with an offshore wind company. They're looking to diversify themselves anyway, just because they see where the trend is going. Lastly, so BOEM, the Bureau of Offshore Energy Management, has ranked Louisiana as the 4th highest potential for the wind energy industry. So that just goes to show you, wind energy can make Louisiana on the map, and I want to see St. Mary Parish leading the charge to that. It's a no-brainer to me. I mean, going back to, we can be first in oil and gas.
Yes.
We can also be first in renewables.
Yes.
And honestly, those both can coexist.
Yes, and they can. They have to. You still need oil for the
100%.
with turbines. You still. I mean, that's still.
Well, oil and gas
yes.
isn't going away.
Yes, exactly, and that's all. I just want to make sure I'm on the record. I'm not saying get rid of it altogether. No, I think we can definitely coexist.
Absolutely.
Let's go to solar panel or solar farm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, there's one other the
Mini-
offshore manufacturing
Yeah,
supply company.
absolutely.
So those two are some other companies that we talked about. Where are we again with that?
Right.
Those two?
So the offshore wind, the solar farm, I met with their company representative probably 2 weeks before Christmas, and he was living out of state. He's officially moved into Louisiana. Second of all, he's actually was meeting with me to finalize the actual location of where the solar farm is going to be at. So we're looking at probably breaking ground in the next month or so to actually start the construction of the facility. Right now, we are just finalizing some permitting process between the parish and the state, just because of where the farm and the cables are actually going to fall over into some state-owned right-of-ways. But we're finalizing that. We're very optimistic of what opportunities that's going to bring. And that's also going to be a job creator with the opportunity for expansion and more connectivity between that kind of energy and SLCC and our trades.
Yes.
I mean, that's a whole new
Yes.
segment of training that is going to need to be created. And we have a community college right here in our backyard that I think can benefit from that.
Yes.
Now, the offshore manufacturer or the supply company, so last conversation I had with their CEO was early December, and where things were right now, where they had a big project coming on, so we kind of put things on hold so they can get through this project. So I've spoken with him again, probably New Year's Eve, just touching base and everything. And he's planning to come back to St. Mary Parish in about 2 weeks to finalize kind of where he wants to have his location at. So we're ideally hoping to break ground, I would hope first quarter of this year, if not early second quarter of this year. But that's also looking very promising.
Okay. Something that I think, and maybe I'm speaking on behalf of everybody. I pay attention to Facebook, folks. I see what you talk about. Retail. There's
Yeah.
not much retail presence in St. Mary Parish. I mean, is there any way that that can be remedied? And I say that because, a girl likes clothes.
Yeah.
A girl likes to shop, but it's not a lot of places. And look, for those businesses that are in operation, this is not against those businesses. But a girl wants options as well. The slogan or things that are also thrown out there to folks is shop local. Yes, shop local, but then also too, you see a lot of folks maybe doing a lot of shopping on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to have to hold this question because now I'm getting to the end of this segment. So think about that and tell me more about, have you been in talks with any retail places? And I bring this up, and I got to say it because I had a conversation with Mayor Duval Arthur, and we talked about the bridges, right? And how they're having, with them hitting the beam. And one of the things, the data had come out before was that there's not a lot of traffic that comes through this area. I'm like, if you haven't seen the traffic backed up in this area, come on. Anyway, I want to talk about retail presence. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, and we have Evan Boudreaux. Now, Evan, let's get right into it. We talked about retail presence, and then we also mentioned during the break I-49. I just want to know, am I going to see it in my lifetime? I don't know, but is there a possibility to have more retail?
Yeah, well, the retail question, that's a great point. And, someone who also likes to shop a lot, what people want, what consumers want is choice. And that's another priority of mine for 2022 is to see a retail presence. Now, whether that is, again, a local business startup or if it's a chain that has a location here, both of those are viable options that I want to see more of here. One big aspect, and it kind of ties into the I-49 point, is with I-49, as that development progresses, I can honestly say that you can expect to see more traffic coming through here, which is going to increase the demand on us to have those places, those retail establishments, those options for people to passing through, need a place to stop, to shop, to eat, whatever it may be. I can tell you right now, retail, looking at the data of St. Mary Parish, the greatest service industry, I would probably say that is the greatest need and the greatest room for opportunity and growth is retail. Yeah. So those people who want to start small businesses, retail is a promising industry, so to speak, in St. Mary Parish right now. I mean, if you look at it for men's clothing and women's clothing, I mean, there's room for growth. So honestly, I can honestly tell you that I'm looking to recruit more retail establishments to St. Mary, or if there's those who want to start a retail establishment, come talk to me.
There you go. Good. And to talk to you, tell them where you're located.
Yeah, so my office is on the fifth floor of the courthouse. My office number is 337-828-4100, extension 542. And my email address is eboudreaux@stmaryparishla.gov. And look, I love to get out of the office as much as possible, so do not feel the need to come to Franklin. I will come to you if need
be. Yes. Well, and let's talk about those small businesses that already are in existence. How are sales taxes right now?
So, the sales taxes have been actually a lot higher than usual. I attest that to the holiday season was one reason. Now, what I am optimistic about, though, is that trend is going to continue forward. Even prior to the holiday season, our sales tax collections were higher than they were the year prior. Is it just people are kind of getting used to the living through the pandemic now, and restrictions have eased up, so people are getting out more and spending more freely? That might very well be possible, but I'm optimistic that we're going to see that trend going. I think people are tired of hearing about the pandemic. People are tired of having to live in this lifestyle, and realistically, small businesses, the ones that survived through the pandemic, I don't want to see another lockdown. I don't want to see another closure. And realistically, those small businesses are the ones that need the assistance and the support from the community, is getting out there and continue spending your dollars locally. That dollar goes a long way in your local community.
Now, I know they're not small business, but I can tell you the gas stations definitely got my money. I have to
Absolutely.
fill up. I mean, gas is just outrageous right now, but that's another story. Let me give you this opportunity. What are you most proud of?
You know, probably the one thing that I can say I'm the most proud of, and I don't want to say it's a specific project or something like that. What I would say the biggest thing that I'm the most proud of is really coming back to St. Mary Parish, where I was, raised, and being able to interact with people that I knew my whole life, essentially. And the community that I feel as if gave me so much, really able to come back and see it grow and see it progress and actually work with the people who are the committed citizens of St. Mary Parish, work with them to ensure that we have a much better St. Mary Parish for future generations, as well as the current residents here. I mean, I'm incredibly excited just about the opportunity that St. Mary Parish progresses, and the best is yet to come. The best days of St. Mary are still ahead.
And on that note, I'll leave it. So thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming back, and we'll do some more updates throughout the year. So we're just getting started.
Yes, absolutely.
2022. See you guys next time. Take care.